This week, I want to talk about equality. Simple enough, right? Everybody has the same inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, my problem is, why do we always jump to the conflicts instead of ensuring that those most basic rights are secure? Now, when I say those most basic rights, I'm talking about the rights to life, the rights to having a job, if you're qualified for it, if you fit in all of the criteria for that job, not being able to fire just because you're trans, gay, black, or Asian. That's silly simple. So why is it that when we talk about transsexuals, do we immediately jump to something like sports? Why can't we start from the beginning saying like, hey, these are equal rights, everybody should be treated equally, instead of saying, oh, they're gonna crush someone's skull. In sports, there's different criterias to be able to play sports. In contact sports, we have weight classes. In contact sports, we are tested for drugs to make sure you don't hurt somebody else. Now, why can't we work this out for people in the trans community without taking away from their most basic rights? I'm talking about the right of a trans person to be able to live their lives how they see fit, not worried about getting assaulted on the streets, not worried about being thrown into a men's part of a prison to be raped and assaulted. I'm talking about the rights to be treated like a human being. These are the rights I'm talking about. When it comes to sports, that's a privilege, and we have governing bodies that decide how sports work. So I can go and push that over here. We shouldn't be pushing for rights in sports through government because government isn't qualified to create rights in sports. What government is qualified for is to protect our constitutional rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So this is my problem when we talk about rights, because the same thing happened in the 60s with civil rights. The South was up in arms. I can't have a black person around my daughter. They're going to destroy everything. The same thing happened with women's rights. It's going to destroy the family home. We can't have women working. Who's going to take care of the family? It happened with gay rights. Oh, we can't have gay scoutmasters and boy scouts. They're going to molest the kids. Why do we keep doing this over and over and over again? Why isn't our first instinct to love thy neighbor instead of just jumping to fear and not seeing where we can all live together in society? I don't understand what the problem is. It's 2021. Gay marriage, the Supreme Court stood up and said marriage needs to be equal. And we're still fighting this in 2021. While we're spending all this energy on culture wars, our country's falling apart. Look what happened in Texas. And of course, we're not going to talk about it because it's not at the front of the news anymore. We still got COVID raging, but we don't be mad about culture wars. We want to discuss bathrooms, as if bathrooms is a social right. We got to get our priorities together. We got to do better. Not even just for your neighbor, for yourself. This is the world that we're setting up for our children. This is the world that we're setting up for ourselves. We're taking over our own food bowl. Hate has no place in society. We can all agree on that. There is no reason for you to hate somebody else. Now, we can talk about crime and punishment and when someone does harm to you and wanting to be punished, but to hate someone just for being gay, for being trans, for the color of their skin or for their religion has no place in society. What's so hard about that? When people are knocking over businesses after a peaceful protest and looting and destroying the streets, it's not hard to say that's wrong. I don't condone violence. Just as it wasn't hard to talk about the Capitol insurrectionists and say, hey, they're running around with the flags of someone I support, but that's not the movement that I believe in. But you want to run around and say it was somebody else. Own up to it. This is all the same conversation. I'm not jumping around. We can't accept our faults. It's always someone else's fault. We can't go to the basics and embrace somebody. We can't go to the basics and say, I wave this flag around. They wave this flag around, but they hate. They're white supremacists. They're not part of my movement. We can't say that. It's not that hard to say it, but our pride won't let us say it. Because we're too busy defending our bias. We're too busy trying to create the narrative that conservatives are the problem. Republicans are the problem. Liberals are the problem. Progressives are the problem. And guess what? We're all the problem. We need to step off our high horse, come together, and actually fix problems instead of trying to make ourselves feel better. We're coming to crucial deadlines here. It's almost going to be too late to fix it. We're all in this together. United we stand, divided we fall. Equal rights are something that's silly simple, and we can't even get that right. If you don't make someone feel equal, they are going to get angry and fight back and take back more than they were asking for. That's what we're looking at here. You like your rights? You like your conservative values? You want it all wiped out? Guess what? You're doing it to yourself. You're playing yourself. So what are we going to do? We're going to do better? Are we really going to love thy neighbor? That's the question. My name is Cal Finding King. Thank you for attending my Jeep Chat.